Well, this has certainly been a week, hasn't it? In the span of 1 week, we have seen the president unleash the military upon peaceful protesters and then double down by sending an additional branch of the military to aid in facing off against peaceful protesters. We've seen a Democratic senator tackled and detained by federal agents for having the audacity to ask a question at a press conference. And we've seen a Democrat state representative, or was it a state senator? I forget. Either way, it doesn't matter. Out of Minnesota, shot and killed at her own home by a MAGA supporter posing as a cop. Yes. It was I believe, the Speaker of the Minnesota House, if I'm remembering right. So, state representative. You know, it's weeks like this that really kind of exacerbate that sense of hopelessness and despair in times like these. And these are the kind of weeks that are gonna make you step back and ask yourself, is this even something that we can make it through? Is this a fight that can be won? Is there any reason to continue to hope? And the answer is yeah. The answer is absolutely yes. And that's the whole point of me just kind of throwing this off the cuff thing together here is, I've been thinking about this all day today. And these are exactly the kind of weeks that we need to step back and look at as the embodiment of why it's important to resist and to fight and to never give up. We are facing a very dire moment in American history. This is a period of overt fascism that I don't think we've ever really seen, or at least not in a very long time. But I think there was an argument that it's never really been quite this bad. And that's exactly why we can't ever give up. So there's a couple of different groups, 2 or 3 groups of people that I want to address. First, I want to address all of those out there who have been organizing and protesting in the face of everything that's been going on. From, we've had the hands-off protests, and today we had the No Kings protests, and there have been all kinds of other rallies and protests and marches over the last few months across the country. And, to all of those people, I want to say, do not stop. Don't ever stop. Don't stop organizing. Don't stop protesting. Don't stop rallying or marching. Don't stop holding press conferences. Don't stop calling and texting and emailing and faxing your representatives. Don't stop any of it. Don't let up for one single day. You keep going. You do what you have to do to find that energy in here. And, pace yourself however you need to, because this is most certainly a marathon, but don't ever give up. You know, if you have to slow a little bit from like a sprint to a trot for a while, then fine, do that. But otherwise, don't stop. What you're doing with the marches and the rallies and the protests and the calling your representatives and showing up at town halls and all of these things, this is a source of pressure upon those in power and those who are on the wrong side of things, not just the wrong side of history, and sometimes not even just the wrong side of the law, but the wrong side of what is right and what is wrong. You're putting pressure on them. And it is, a valuable thing. And it has an effect, even if it doesn't always seem like it. But, sometimes it's a delayed effect, sometimes it's a cumulative thing that just takes a while, but there is an effect. And what you do, it's valuable and it is necessary. And it keeps people engaged and it keeps people hearing about what's going on, and it forces people, all of the people out there who want so badly to just bury their heads in the sand and pretend that everything is fine, you're forcing them to have to see, even if it's only off in the periphery of their vision, of what's really happening. And that is good and necessary and noble work, and you cannot ever stop. Don't stop because they sick the cops on you. Don't stop because they sick the National Guard or the Marines on you. Don't stop just because your representatives may still end up voting for a bill today that is a horrible thing. Don't stop. You keep that pressure going. There's absolutely been places where all of this protesting and calling and rallying has had an effect exactly the way we needed it to. Some examples have been, I know that there's been multiple hospitals that tried to cooperate in advance and, preemptively capitulate to the Trump administration by stopping their gender-affirming care services. And then people rallied and protested out front of those hospitals and put media attention on it. And after a while, those hospitals relented to what was right and started back up with the gender healthcare treatments again. And so that's just an example. But it works and it's needed. So that's the first group. All of you organizers, you protesters, don't ever stop. The second group that I want to address is those of you who are on the Democrat or socialist or even independent labeled politicians on either state or federal levels who are actually continuing to do what you need to do in the face of all this. You can't stop either. The purpose of government is to organize and protect and uplift the citizenry. That's it. That's the purpose of government. And any branch of government, any level of government, any department of government, anywhere that acts against that is and should be treated as a malicious and hostile force. Whether it's a judge or a city department or a state legislature or the president or an executive order, whatever. Anything that goes against that needs to be treated as hostile and malicious. And some of you out there are still doing that. You're still doing whatever you can. You're in your legislatures and you're voting against things. And you're speaking out. you're holding press conferences, you're obstructing in your different chambers, and, and that's exactly what we need of you right now. And you can't stop that either. And I know that for a lot of you it's very tiring. Many of you are in places where, you are outnumbered by Republicans. And you're still trying to fight, whether it's on city levels or state levels or even the federal level. There's some of you out there, a lot of you, really, who are taking it seriously. And good. That's exactly what we need of you, and you can't ever quit that either. You can't. You are in a position of power and authority, and we need you to use that power and to use that authority to protect the people who cannot protect themselves because they are without the system. You're in the system, and you're doing what we need you to do, and I dearly hope that not a single one of you quits. Don't be intimidated. Don't be driven by fear. I know that we're now seeing how the Trump administration is willing to just detain people and drag them away in handcuffs for trying to ask a question at a press conference. And we're even seeing that the MAGA sympathizers are out there deliberately hunting down and assassinating Democratic lawmakers. Yeah, and you know what? That's terrifying. And speaking as somebody who aspires to be a politician, so I'm already involved in the city of Bloomington's government as a commissioner, and I have every intent of going up from here. I think it's terrifying. I think these things are unbelievably terrifying. But, you cannot act with that fear controlling you. You gotta stand your ground. You gotta stick up for the people who are relying on you to protect them. And you have to fight for the right thing. And now we need that more than ever. Oh, okay, so you might notice a jump cut here, which is really unusual for me and videos that I'm going to be doing on this channel. And the reason for it is because after what you just saw there, I kind of got lost in a bit of an angry rambling, which, kind of justified and understandable, all things considered, to become angry over the state of things. But it was off track for this video, so allow me to get back on track and close this out with what I really intended this to be about. And that is, not that we can't be angry over the things that have happened, lawmakers being arrested for no reason, state lawmakers being assassinated in their homes, civilians being, not just bullied, but overtly repressed by their government. Actually, anger is a pretty valid response to these things, and I've been pretty angry myself this week. But I think the point of this is, don't just be angry, but do something with that anger. Do something constructive. Do something valuable with that anger. You know, like I was saying a minute ago, you can channel that anger into organizing and protesting and, staging call-in campaigns to your state legislators and your federal representatives. And you can channel that energy into, organizing within your community, whatever you consider that community to be. Could be anything from, a demographic that you are a part of to your apartment complex or whatever. Organize within those communities and find out ways that you can help. Just like in a general, like, what do people in your community need? Get out there and organize with them and engage in mutual aid activities. Or, if you're one of the lawmakers that I was addressing, you can channel that energy into continuing to do what I hope you've already been doing. Speaking out, grabbing hold of the spotlight as often as possible to continue to highlight the just terrible and malicious and sometimes downright evil things that are happening right now that we're fighting against. And, let's not, tiptoe around it. It's MAGA, it's conservatism, it's Republicans, whichever term you want to use. It honestly doesn't matter, because right now it's kind of all the same big conglomerate. It's this group that we're pushing against. It's this group that has made this situation so dire. And, they're the ones that we need to fight against. And so this energy, this anger can be channeled into, obstructing them within legislatures. It can be channeled by, organize your constituency, rally your constituents to come to your state houses or federal offices in mass. Organize your constituents to show up in person and to rally and to speak against things. These are examples of things that we can do with this anger, which I think is a perfectly valid and reasonable response to this situation. And, to finish this all off, like I was saying at the very start of this, things are really genuinely frightening right now. And it wouldn't surprise me if anybody out there felt maybe like this is kind of hopeless, like we're seeing the government or otherwise fringe civilians who support this kind of fascism are out there perpetuating horrific things, systems that do nothing more than ensure that things only get worse and worse. And in the face of all this is exactly why you can never give up hope. Don't ever give up. Don't stop organizing. Don't stop voting. Don't stop rallying. Don't stop showing up in person. Don't stop calling. Don't give them an inch of ground. Not on your own. And for every inch of ground that they make, you make them fight for it. You make them have to fight
with everything they have for even so much as an inch more, you make them exhaust themselves for every inch that they have to take from us from here on out. And don't let them have anything of yours willingly. Your right to happiness, your right to liberty, your body, your life, your name, your quality of life. Don't let them have any of this willingly. Because at the end of the day, fundamentally, I think that these people can only have what we willingly give up to them. And I, for one, give them nothing. And I hope you don't either. So, stay strong, stay bold, stay brave. Pace yourself if you have to, but stay in that marathon. Because we're not done yet, and we're not going to be for a while. Hold each other up, look out for each other, keep fighting. We can win. We can make a better place. We can make a better world. So don't ever give up on that dream.
Hey everybody, if you liked that video and you want to see more of that and you want to follow other things that I do on this channel, then hey, you already know what to do, right? Click on the subscription button, click on the little bell, share the video, like the video, all that stuff. And thanks, I appreciate your support.